So we've been talking about discourse today, right? And hey, YouTube, if you're watching this right now, you could do me a favor, hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that bell to stay notified. This channel uploads daily, and I'm getting sick of doing this in the middle of stream. So if you could, do it. So, yeah. We are closed. No one wants to work. Interesting. I wonder why. What? What the fuck? What the fuck, man? Oh, they're making memes. Yo, okay, so a few, about a year ago, almost around this time, I made a video called "Unemployment and Why You're an Asshole," in which I spoke about the very obvious parallels between the conversations that we have about unemployment, the benefits people get, and if they should return to work or not. To which I said, to summarize, it's really weird that people want people to go back to work for a job that they probably literally will never walk into, to not buy a product or consume, probably never even heard of, possibly contract COVID, all for the sake of saying, see, you're working for your money as opposed to it just being handed to you. If I could receive $800 to $1,000 a day to just sit down in my house and create content, I would do that. But you would consider that a handout from the government, and I thought that was weird. This also went into what I was talking about in the video I made called Offline that you can check out on YouTube and Facebook and all that good stuff, about financial compensation. The financial compensation for art. And it bothers me that this conversation exists. And it bothers me that it still exists. Because people are legitimately saying, hey, yo, just go back to work, stop getting a handout from the government, stop being lazy. But there's less money to be taken by working at Starbucks than it is being on unemployment. Why would I take the lesser of the job to make you feel better about what I do? Are you mad that I'm getting a bigger bag than you and not having to do it? Why don't you come with me? Why don't you come get a bigger bag yourself? Oh, I don't take government handouts. I don't take handouts. I'm not lazy. Bro, I'm not handing you a loaf of bread. I'm telling you, for 3 months, you don't have to worry about your rent, your car payment, or your bills, man. And you're sitting here so prideful that you slammed a hammer down for 80 hours a week. Like, you're really great. And we're back to Steven Crowder. Look, and for those of you who are wondering, no, these aren't planned shits. I'm trying to take a different approach with the content. I hope you like it. But I'm just doing this shit off the cuff. This is literally what I do on the internet. Like, I have conversations with myself about dumb shit. We Are Closed trend is filled with entitled crybabies. There's greater job, and what did I just say? What did I just say 5 seconds ago? There's a greater job surplus than at any point in modern American history. A huge portion which pay far more than $15 an hour. That's a lie. If you think that plumbing, welding, and carpentry is beneath you, you get nothing. Everybody become a plumber, everybody become a welder, everybody become a carpenter. And realize that now that those fields are super saturated, the prices will go down. Plus, more people will know how to do it themselves, so they won't be hiring out. Look at that. You just killed an industry by suggesting that to your fellow Chad men. But for some reason, the people that even listen to what you say aren't exactly, working. So I don't know. Just think about that. Just have some fun with it. Think about it. Think about it. Think about it. Ah, that's 2 buses in the same spot. That's MTA behind schedule. Like, think about it. One stopped blacking, the other went crazy. Orlando Brown, Raven Simone, come on. Those are all trades that require certifications, that require you to go to school, something people can't do for $27.25 an hour. And of course, you wouldn't know that. You haven't worked a single day doing a trade. I said you LARP is bootleg Nathan Drake. That was... Ah! People are sick of dead-end jobs that don't pay crap, so they're looking for better. I don't blame them. I bet you, I'm not even going to look at the screen. I bet you that one of the few comments are, those are not the people we're talking about. We're talking about the people who don't have a certain skill set, or some dumb shit about skill sets, and like really shitty advice. LML, this is all good and nice, but it is interesting how people see things. We just had the economy closed, states closed, people losing jobs and owing money on rent, house, all because of our shitty government politicians, had literally nothing to do with the workers. Fair enough. This is most certainly a loser mentality. Yeah, but most of them aren't even looking to better. I know, oh my God! They aren't even looking to better themselves right now. They're just waiting for those jobs to pay more so they can go back to that same job. Never ever go to a fast food restaurant, grocery store if you think they should be paid wages that aren't livable. You're okay with oppressing entire class of people so you can have someone to look down on. I don't look down on anyone. We're all human. See? And that's where I check out. Again, you're doing the all jobs matter, but you're fucking working at McDonald's. So shut the fuck up about making a livable wage. Maybe you should get some better skill set than work somewhere. Leave this to the high schoolers that are in school during the time that you and your associates go out for lunch and pick McDonald's. So who's working those jobs? Losers? Deadbeats? Nah, bro. If everybody was by themselves, if everybody lived by themselves, they'd all have to make ends meet. You want people to be entrepreneurs, homeowners, and live off $7.25 an hour. How dare you? But see, this is the problem with discourse, and why I feel like sometimes I'm wasting my breath talking and making segments about it, because this shit should be common knowledge. I should change my name from The Paradigm Shift to Common Sense, but I'm sure there's 20 other common sense channels out there. I have to worry about metrics. I have to worry about this. I got to worry about that. Crazy. You are an asshole if you're still on this. Somebody nukes California. Oh, well, the nuke's gone now. Why won't you get back to work, you lazy? You dirty, you fuck. You absolute horrendous human being. You take your empathy-less ass and you get the fuck out of here. That's why I say these people wouldn't say that shit if they felt like they didn't have some type of social power. If they felt like they didn't have a sway that could make people believe in what they're saying enough to make that an acceptable part of the discourse in these type of conversations. Fuck it being Twitter, fuck it being trolls, fuck it being like, if you can upset people without being legitimate, I want you to think about the real world consequences of that. Like, maybe we should give up the fucking trying to be an edgy lord on the internet. That shit wasn't cool. 6% of people, like 6% of people that browse 4chan get their news from 4chan? Who determines... Oh, wait, sorry. I don't look down on anyone. We're all human. That's just you talking out of your ass. I'm just saying those jobs were never meant to make a living from. That's why they've always paid minimum wage, so people can try to do better. Whopping 62% of jobs don't support middle class life after accounting for cost of living in 2018, and we just had a pandemic. Lives in Brooklyn, has a good job as a public relations specialist that pays more than $50,000 a year. But because of $1,440 a month rent on a studio apartment and the prospect left her, she never takes vacation, dines out just once a month, and scrapes together dinner leftovers for lunch the next day. I'm frustrated with the fact that I'm not going to be able to save anything because my rent is so high. I don't even know if I can afford to have children. Despite an unemployment rate that has reached a 50-year low, most jobs across the U.S. don't support a middle class or better lifestyle, leaving many Americans struggling. So getting the job doesn't solve the fucking solution. So let's look at the profile. South Central, chilling, boxing, UFC, like you don't have an opinion on that like, I'm not saying matters, but like, you're literally talking without any frame of reference. So how do you change the discourse on Twitter about jobs Like, how do you change the discourse about unemployment? Takes quite a while to be a licensed plumber. I heard someone say addressing those out of work at the end of the first year of the pandemic. If at this point you haven't learned a new skill or created a business, you've wasted your time. The world is literally at our fingertips, yet few use it to better themselves. Suck my dick. Suck my dick. Ability is a spectrum. Who was buying stuff in the pandemic when they had no money for food, let alone a bracelet from your Etsy shop? If you haven't started a new business or learned a new skill, like, motherfucker, families were dying. This idea that you can ignore what's going on is an insane set of privilege. Notice I didn't say it's white privilege. It's just the ability to see fucking death around you in so many ways that close in on you and make you feel like, oh shit, the next point, the next thing that is said is going to pain me to think about the people I've lost. Some motherfucker says, oh, you couldn't take all that time. I mean, they were dead, but you weren't. How come you didn't learn how to make an app? Like, blow me. And that's the whole thing with the shtick about this guy. Just saying shit. I'm a shit poster. Don't take me seriously. 11.1k likes, and that shit did nothing but further the consequence of even beginning to talk in that thread. People arguing outside. We are closed because no one wants to work anymore. You think slave owners said shit like this after slaves were freed? That shit is funny. Sorry, that's a great take. That's a great take. That's a great fucking take.
Some employers say they can't find workers.
Some small business leaders blaming the expanded unemployment benefits.
I think we've gone too far.
No, the pandemic has changed things. People are reevaluating working a tough job with poor working conditions for shit pay. 2/3 of unemployed adults say they've considered a career change thanks to COVID, and 1/3 have already taken the steps like job retraining or school. Sure, you're hiring, but a disproportionate number of women are still voluntarily leaving the workforce because childcare is unavailable or unaffordable. Also, some people have already found better paying jobs. Amazon, for example, hired more than 500,000 workers in 2020, and I know we can go on and on about their poor working conditions, but when it's rough working conditions for $8 an hour versus the $15 an hour that Amazon pays, you know exactly which one you're gonna pick. This isn't complicated.
Okay, no, sorry. I know you're doing this to appeal to the liberal audience or a very liberal audience, but don't say shit like that.
You offer a living wage, people are gonna want to work for you. Yet the right wing keeps hammering this bullshit point.
Problem is, when you take taxes out and everything, government is just paying people more.
Here's the tea. The only people who are actually better off taking unemployment instead of working are those making 32 grand a year or less. That's half the national average. The party of sacrifice your grandparents for the economy is now pivoted to sacrifice the poor for the economy, and to be quite honest, we're done with it. People want to work, but if you're paying poverty wages, they just don't want to work for you.
She's right. I just didn't like that little part right there. Oh, yeah, yo. This is a follow bot. This is a follow. She's part of follow chains. That's why she has a big audience. We are closed because in Biden's America, nobody can afford to drive to work at $3.50 a gallon. Like prices were higher a couple weeks ago. And nobody, what? Follow me if you agree. Oh my God, this discourse sucks, bro. We are closed. What? We are closed is trending because people are refusing work. I'm all in favor of people finding the best job plus pay for their skills and experience and turning down available work that don't meet their criteria. I'm absolutely against government, aka other taxpayers, subsidizing that. Also, people in this thread keep talking about Walmart and Amazon. The majority of businesses in this country are small businesses, which are being most impacted. Every attempt to stick it to the big guy always ends up with more big guys and more power among them. Government should stay out of all subsidies. They shouldn't be favoring big business. They shouldn't be picking up winners and losers. Ultimately, all of this will end up with more government and more crony power to the detriment of small businesses, entry-level workers, and economic freedom. There's like a part where I guess I kind of could agree with that, but like, yeah, I'd rather subsidize that than subsidize the Waltons and Bezos. They pay their employees shit and we make up the difference in welfare programs, and the richy riches get to keep the money. If you attended public school, taxpayers subsidize that. Yeah, okay, that's a little bit of a hard take there. I just want to see one more, maybe. Yeah, blah 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 says they can't keep up with demand. Yeah, blah blah blah. I think I'll end it on this one. We are closed trending because for a year, frontline workers risked lives, showed up and got jobs done while paid minimum wage in majority of cases. Called heroes at the time. Remember when we used to clap? We used to do the sounds at 7 o'clock for the essential workers. They thought businesses would respect them, raise them to a decent wage now, but employers don't care. Yep. Funny how people went from frontline workers and heroes to low-skill workers real quick. They use the term essential workers because expendable would scare people off. Yep. They never cared. They never will. So if you're somehow still one of those people who are like, just go back to work. What are you doing being lazy? Just stop thinking that. I'm not arguing with you. I'm telling you should change your opinion. Not because I gave you some excellently laid out points here, but because it's just common courtesy. Just stop. Stop. Let's fix the situation in which anybody who gets a job has to live in poverty still.